Hey y'all, and welcome to episode 28 of the UnseenStrands podcast, a crochet and fiber arts related podcast where I, your host Mo, am visually impaired and will be sharing with you strands of the rest of my life. I come to you from Central Iowa, where I live with my 4 boys, my husband, our 2 cats, and our dog. And I'd like to say welcome back to all our returning viewers and a hearty welcome to any new viewers. And sorry guys, this is feeling really awkward because this is like the 6th, 7th time I've recorded because I'm just having camera issues and lots of other issues, as you will see as we get into more video. But I did want to say please come and subscribe if you are checking us out for the first time, because I know I've had a shout out by No Catchy Name, and I want to say, Brenda, did you do one too? Which is my Pug of Full Life, but I'll get more into her stuff a little later when I get a little more into chit-chatting. But guys, as you may see from the episode title, life is full of woes. This is a part for my spinning wheel, and if you've been with me for at least since the beginning of the year, I think that was last month we did episode 27, which was naming my spinning wheel. Yeah, I sat down to use my spinning wheel last night and this broke. Sorry about that, guys. This is the band that holds the motor. Here, I'll get it out so you can see. Now, we did do a quick fix. Well, it's not exactly quick, but see, same kind of thing. This one is a little thicker, but it is a little bigger. So we had to cable tie it, or zip tie it, so that it will stay. And what that does is, it's very important because it holds our motor. And without that band to hold that, we don't have this suspended so that this will spin, which spins up here. So yeah, my poor spinning wheel is going through a journey, I guess. Hopefully, I haven't been on the Ravelry group today, and hopefully the maker of this will tell me what exactly I need to look for. It's some kind of O-ring from what my husband could find, but this pack that he got was assorted sizes, and this was the smallest one, and that he said was the only thing that they had. Sorry guys, I'm going to be coughing all throughout this video, but we're not going to stop this time, so you're just going to have to deal with it. Yeah, so my poor spinning wheel lost its rubber, plastic, I can't remember. It's a ring of some sort. But hopefully we'll figure out what size we need to get and order it, because that is a part I really need. So anyways, well, we'll go ahead and do works in progress since we already showed you the spinning wheel. I did finish a bobbin of my the first ply, which in spinning you ply, or you have to spin it and then you ply all the additional strands together, or you know. So what I am doing is I am doing a chain ply, which is something I learned back in, oh no, I got this stuck on. There we go. Something I learned back in November was how to chain ply so that I only need 2 bobbins, because I have an issue where I only have 3 of these bobbins, so I would need 3 empty bobbins to get a 2 ply. And a lot of things want you to have like a 3 ply, so this is kind of the cheater's way of making a 3 ply with only 2 bobbins. And yeah, so I started plying, so this is my ply job. It's not the greatest, but I have started plying my my hand spun, so now it will be a 3 ply instead of a single ply. So that's just on my Lazy Kate. And I heard somebody, I think it was Crochet Circle, Claudia, no, Faye, sorry, get all my names confused, was talking about not holding things in front of your face so that people can read lips, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that, but I know that like focusing takes a huge hit when you don't hold things in front of your face, because the camera wants you to have your focus on the facial features over the items. So I don't know, it's kind of a toss-up on what wins out there. But that is my single ply. So this bobbin was full, at least as full as I could get it. I should have weighed it, but I didn't. So yeah, that was a full bobbin, and so that should turn into this being a full bobbin. So we're roughly, I don't know, a quarter of the way done, a third of the way maybe. So that is my spinning. And then, well, now this is taking a backseat at the moment. I'm hoping maybe tonight I'll go out and get a new hook, because I started working on this before we left for vacation, so I don't think you've seen it recently. This is my miso coaster, which was by Cello Knits, and it is a crochet pattern, and it uses the popcorn stitch, and it will be like a bowl cozy, and you do felt it, so this should be larger than it needs to be. But I was kind of experimenting with that to see, like, on making, you know, bowl cozies as gifts and things. But in one of my other FOs, I accidentally switched hooks, and now I don't know what the babies did with the hook that I need for this, because this was using a size 7, which I believe is 7mm, which is not a standard US size hook. And so yeah, I need to go to Hobby Lobby and see if I can remedy that situation, which I might be able to do tonight because it's Taekwondo night, but we're also under like blizzard-ish conditions. At least we're under a winter weather or something or other. So there's a good chance that we won't be going to Taekwondo tonight. But we do have a Hobby Lobby that's closer to our house. So even if we don't go that far, because there's a Hobby Lobby right by their Taekwondo studio. But there is a Hobby Lobby that's newer that opened up here that is closer to my house. So I might be heading there tonight. But as for my project that I switched hooks on without realizing it, I finished one of the cat mats. This is the first cat mat, and it just used 2 strings of Simply Soft, and my husband actually really likes this texture and this weight of this blanket, so you might see this re-emerge in like a another version just for us. Although I think he was messing with me, but he said he wanted it to be alpaca hand spun, and do this marled, you know, like double-stranded effect. And I'm like, do you realize how expensive that would be? I mean, granted, he's worth it, but at the same time, I don't have time for that. that would be a lot. So I don't know. Again, I'll be getting into this later, but the retreat that I go to is coming up, and I'll probably be picking up more alpaca there, and so maybe I'll mix that alpaca with something else to kind of make his dreams come true. But yeah, so I don't know if that's back far enough, guys, sorry. It's approximately placemat sized, which is our cat mat. And basically what determined the size was I ran out of yarn of the pink color, so that kind of determined how big it got. But I started this with a J-hook, and then those hooks had fallen on the floor by my computer, and I picked up the one for the miso coaster instead because I didn't realize that it had fallen on the floor. I thought I'd put it up by the computer, and I realized that when I was making our last weekly whip video, like the day after I posted that, I'm like, I switched hooks. So that's the problem with being blind, is sometimes color coding hooks doesn't really work because I can't read them. So I really like having hooks that have different like bottoms, or you know, different kinds of hooks, because then I can tell them apart better. But that is my cat mat, which will be going into a donation. And somebody was starting a donation oh, it was Hannah the Cozy Cottage, but that doesn't start till March, I don't think. So I'll be making more of these for her cowl, and I need to go into her thread so I can go write that this is a good donation item for your pet like your humane societies and things. These were specifically asked for by our ARL, which is the Animal Rescue League of Iowa. But I think I'll probably be taking them to like the Animal Rescue League of Iowa is kind of like the Des Moines area pet shelter, whereas we have another one that's a little closer because it's the basis of the city that I live in, which is Furry Friends Refuge, so I might see if they will take them there. Then, for another FO, currently in wet status because it fell into the sink, this is a hat. It will be Leo's hat because it is a little small on Zane, but Leo helped pick this yarn out. This is my acquisition for the, where did I put it? For the month of January. This was the only actual yarn that I bought. Where did it go? There it is. This is Red Heart with Love? Yeah. Red Heart with Love, I think. Or Red Heart Soft. I've been watching too many podcasts, so all these things are... This is Red Heart Soft. Sorry. Which was I bought at Michael's. They had a coupon right before I went on vacation, so it was about 2 weeks ago, maybe a little more than that, and it was a $5 off a purchase of $5 or more. So this yarn I think was $5.49 maybe, or was it $4? We got a couple other things, so my purchase, this basically cost me like 50 cents or something. And then I had picked it out because Leo actually picked it out as a color for him. Then this hat in particular is a, I don't remember the name, so you'll have to look at my Ravelry project page for the designer. It was a pattern that I had gotten for free. I do think it is a usually purchased pattern, but I think it was like $1 or something because I did look at it. But it, too much information in my head, guys. The wool needles, wool hands, needles, wool. The one that does the yearly hat cowl has the monthly goal or whatever, or the monthly, what do you call it? This month is to make a hat with a designer with less than 30 projects on Ravelry. This pattern happened to have 29 projects when I found it, because I just went in my library and sorted it by how many projects everything had, and so I just kind of was going, looking through that list, and I found this one, and I'm like, oh, well, honestly, because I go by the name of things, I thought the ribbing went the other way, and I don't know if this is inside out or right side out. I don't know my knitting, like which is supposed to be stockinette, or you know, which side is supposed to be inside out or right side out. But I want to say it goes this way. But I thought that it would have the tighter weave and then get bigger, because that's what I've seen, like crochet hats do that and stuff. So I was thinking it did that, but instead it had the smaller ribbing down here, and then it gets bigger towards the top, which isn't exactly what I thought. So I think I might look for a different pattern for Zane's matching hat. But I did do this. I thought I brought them over, but now I don't know where I put those either, because I just throw everything in front of here and then I lose it all. Guys, it's been a day. I think that's always my story though, isn't it? Yeah, I don't see my needles. Oh, there they are. They're on the TV or end table that you're sitting on. These are huge, huge, huge knitting needles. These were my Knitter's Pride size 10.5, which I had purchased from Paradise Fibers in one of their... I want to say I purchased these at the beginning or end of year sale, and now I just loosened that one up. With my fiber for my sweater that I'm spinning, because I got all the sizes that they still had of the ones that I didn't have, which were all the big ones. So there was this is the 10.5, there's a 10.75, and then there's the 11. And I want to say that that is 6.5 millimeters. Again, that is linked in my project page over on Ravelry, because I did do that. I haven't put the picture up of this yet because it keeps falling in the sink because I've been bad and haven't been hanging it up properly. So what happened was Zane was wearing this right after I finished it, and I took it off his head when we were going potty right before bed, and I put it up on the counter, and then the next morning one of the boys had knocked it into the sink and I forgot that it was in there, and yeah, I totally ran the sink on it and then keep forgetting to get it hung up properly to dry. Life with boys. Okay, so the last 2/1.5 finished objects. I made these cute little hats. This was for the hat goal or whatever of last month, which was to do any hat, I think was that one's. This is from a Java Pearl Designs pattern. It is the top-down preemie hat. It does use a provisional, I think is the proper term for the cast-on. Is that what it was? Like I said, guys, too much information in my head. I can't remember things once I start talking. Which actually uses a crochet hook and basically like a magic circle start. And then you pull that circle once you get like done with the decreases, basically, is when this one had you pull it tight, which makes it a lot easier to start that top circle. Debbie, I know you were having trouble, but I still don't like the bottom up hats, which is what this other hat was a bottom up. No, I can't find it again. It's over there somewhere. I do like still doing these top down, even though, I mean, it does not look terrible on my increased thing or whatnot. But yeah, this is a preemie hat, and it will be going in the, which group? Just One More Row podcast group does a donation thing with their retreat, which I don't go to their retreat, but their retreat is in like September or something, and it only accepts knitted preemie hats, or sewn maybe? I don't remember what the other requirement was. But if they're not knitted, then they need to be bigger than preemie, because something about how it sits on their head, the crochet stitches are just too lumpy or something. So I was like, I wanted to get some hats. I meant to send some last year, and then it just never got mailed off. So I have like 3 crocheted hats already ready to be sent off to them for their thing. And then I'll have this one to add to it. But we have, since the Pen, Hooks, and Needles podcast, since you need 50 yards, and these are under 50 yards for one hat, I made 2. This one, the top of it, I did actually a lot sloppier. Actually, overall, this one's probably sloppier. But I did end up with 2 matching. Oh, these are out of a, what are they called? The Eversoft, is that Premier? I think that's a Premier yarn. It's the Eversoft, and since I can't see colors, guys, I don't know if this is the light ocean or the gray. I know it's one of those because that's all I have. I have the 3 ocean colors, the dark, medium, and light ocean, and then I have gray. So I can't tell if this is gray or light bluish kind of ocean color. But I made 2 of them, except right before I started recording, I tried to weave in the ends so that I was looking all professionally done for you. And since I need 2 for the Pen, Hooks, and Needles podcast, I haven't tore this out yet, but I was weaving in my end and it was doing something funky. So I cut a string, and guess what happened? Big hole in my hat. Yeah, guys, I told you this episode is full of woes. So basically, I made this hat. that's why I'm holding it this way for you. I'm going to get my picture of my 2 hats so I can put in my Pen, Hooks, and Needles, because I did finish it. And then I screwed it up at the very end. Ouch. But, you know, they're meant for donation, so it wasn't like I needed these for something and screwed it up. I'll just take it out and we'll start again, because I'll probably just keep doing these out of you know, scrap stuff, just like I've been doing these cat mats out of my basic acrylics just to get them out of the house. And so, I think that's all the finished objects. Guys, I went into finished objects without finishing whips. I told you, it's one of those days. It just, oh, there's the hat. But yeah, so for whips, the only other things I am working on, these were the things that traveled with me on vacation. And I started that hat on vacation because I couldn't start that till February 1st, so I printed, the pattern was simple enough that I could print it on a sheet of paper and was confident that the kids or my husband, which I used both, could read me the instructions while we were down there so I could get started. So I did actually start that on vacation. I'm trying to think. Maybe I did start at Dave & Buster's, but I did most of my work there. But this was the other thing I took. This was for my play knitting. This is another cello knits pattern. This was the honeycomb cowl pattern. I had to take it out and restart it skinnier. I need to go look in the Knit and Purl podcast group. She has her read along, and I think this would work really good for the read along, except for I don't know if I can use a whip in that. And since this is a whip, I'll have to look and see if I can use it or not. But this is out of the Yarn Bee Dazzling yarn in the color Brights. I think it was Brights 10, which is kind of a goofy name to me. I want to say Debbie or somebody was using this yarn in something else. It was a different colorway though. This is on size 8 needles, and you may notice that I have 2 needles going on because I'm doing this really weird cable thing. Wait a second. That's not the right needle. I told you guys, it's a life of errors. Oh, now I don't know where it went. It's somewhere over here. That was the needles that I used on Leo's hat. But I have another set of needles somewhere around here, and it's only got 1 tip on it because this is the basic acrylic tip that came with my first Knitter's Pride beginner set. And then this is my shorty tips, which are from Knit Picks. So my other cable, wherever it went, has this other short tip on it and then just has a stopper on it. So what happens is every other row I have a certain stitch pattern, and then that I need to cable off of. And so I've been using 2 things so that when I get to the cable, which is why I was going to hold it in front of you here, but now I can't find it. So pretend this is my other needle, which is somewhere on the floor in front of me. I'll actually move the stitches onto either the front or the back, you know, whichever. Okay, so this is my back, even though it looks to you to be the front, since, but I always use my longer one as my back just so I don't get confused. And my shorter one as my front, and I'll move all my stitches over, and then I'll move all the stitches back onto that other needle once I have them switched, or I'll, you know, flip them around. It'll make sense if you know how to cable knit. It's not going to make sense to you if you don't, because I wish I could find the other needle because then I could kind of show you what I mean. But yeah, that's how I am doing this. And I know it's over here because I was working on this in the car last night too. But yeah, that's only a few inches in. And then the last thing I am working on is this thing has already been taken out once, and then I threw the hook on the floor when I was looking for that needle. Okay. And I'll probably tear it out again because I'm just not happy with how this toe is working up. This is my Aloha yarn, which was my yarn for Claudia of, I see your thing all the time, Crochet Luna. Oh guys, this is a mess. The Crochet Luna's Year of Socks and her themes for the year, and this was the Love is in the Air, and so I thought Aloha, you know, Hawaii, you know, magical honeymoon spot and all that. Yeah, so I was going with Love is in the Air with that, but I just cannot get my toe to work for me today, or because I worked on this in lines at Universal. Maybe not at Universal, because at Disney you could take your bags with you. So I think I worked on this more there, but I was like all the way done with the toe and it was really pointy and I didn't like it, so I took it all out. I restarted and I'm a lot closer this time, but I still might just take it out and work from an actual pattern instead of my head. Sorry about those coughing fits, guys. We had this transit van Ford thing, and they were brand new and they had heat vents in the floor, and my husband couldn't figure out for like 3 days how to turn them off, and it just killed my sinuses. It was like sitting in front of a space heater for 3 days straight because it never turned off. Like anytime we were in the car, this heater system was on, which was okay in Florida because it was really cold when we went, but it did not play friendly with my sinuses, and so they are royally screwed up at the moment. Not that they're ever great, but they're worse than usual at the moment. We're still trying to get over that, even though we've been back for over a week now. But yeah, guys, so in just chatter and things, I wanted to invite you to come to the My Pug of Life. This is why I said I would get back to her channel later. She does a Zoom chat every Thursday at 11, and that is Central Time, and I have been joining in on those. And I know there's also Stitch My Lou is doing hers on Saturday nights at 7, which is Eastern Time, so 6 Central Time. And I can't really make that. That's, you know, dinner-ish time and family day Saturday. So I can't really make Melanie's, but I do make Brenda's, and so I've been now to, I think, 3 of them, and I think she's at 4 because there was, of course, one while I was on vacation, so I did miss that one. And let's see, other things. Our next episode should be a recap of the Sticks and Strings retreat for 2019. That happens towards the end of this month. I can't remember what the weekend dates are. It's 22nd through the 24th? Is that? Let's see. I think so. Wow, that's a lot closer because that's only a little over a week and a half away. Okay, but yeah, the Sticks and Strings retreat is coming up, and that is a local to me retreat that is held by the Des Moines Knitters Guild, I think. I don't know because I'm not really part of the group, but I went to this retreat last year and I enjoyed myself, so I'm going back with my husband, who was invited back. She actually said that I needed to have him model stuff for the fashion show, so we'll see, because I forgot all about that. And I need to get stuff going for all that. Not that I need to make things, but I need to go and look up the paperwork to actually get entries into that, because they have prize draws and stuff, and the fashion show you can get extra entries if you participate in the fashion show, so I might have to do that. Then I was listening to Dramatic Knits over this past couple of days, and they are doing the Shepherd's Market in Iowa City on March 2nd, so now that I know that is a thing, I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to go to that. It's only a Saturday, you know, like shopping market, so Iowa City is about an hour and a half, 2 hours from here. It's halfway between here and when I go visit my parents, so I might be going out to that. It's nice to get out and stuff, so depending on the weather, because our weather has been so super crappy since we've gotten back, so maybe we'll go to that. And then I know Fiber Palooza, which I need to see what else they have that goes on at that. I know they have a market because I went to that last year, but that was around the St. Patrick's Day weekend, and so I need to look into that. So that's kind of the things I'll be doing for this next month and a half. That's a lot of stuff going on. I guess that's only a month, really. I mean, thinking But yeah, it's all crammed in there. And yeah, as far as retreats, I didn't actually enter the Dramatic Knits Knitting at the Estate retreat because I finally went and looked at the actual distance between here and there. And even from my parents' house, which was what I was planning, I knew that it was kind of far, but I thought if I broke up the trip, dropped the kids off at my dad's for the weekend, I could then make the trip down there. But it was still like quite a few hours driving. And between that and the cost, it was like $800 to stay on site and $600-ish to stay off site. And since I would be going, my husband would have to be driving me because I don't know anybody else who's going or attempting to go. He would also have to have a room somewhere, and that's just a lot of money. And I was like, you know, when you get down to it, $800 worth of yarn is a lot of yarn I could buy over going to the Knitting at the Estate retreat. So maybe next year, we'll see. But this year it was just like, it almost became that point where it's like, if I could fly there, it might be worth it, but all that travel time. Okay, sorry guys. Like I said, I'm having sinus issues. It didn't seem feasible for this year. And I even looked into Bag-A-Day's retreat because I'm like, well, if I don't go to that, I've kind of freed up that money. And it was that distance thing. It was, hers I think is even further because there's just not a good, I think hers is technically in southern Illinois and the Knitting at the State is more central Illinois. But I always think of Illinois as being a lot smaller than it actually is. So yeah, I can't spend that money for hers, I can't get the travel there. And for the Knitting at the State, I really don't have that much money to spend on it. So I didn't go in for the lottery, so I wasn't on the list, and I decided not to do that one. Let's see, is there anything else interesting going on? I don't think so. So I think that's it, except for if you want the kid update, Jeremy is still playing the French horn, and he still needs to pay that off, which he's paying his uncle off because his uncle was the one who got him the French horn. So I would really appreciate it if you are interested in paper die cuts, if you would go over to their Etsy shop, which is Moe's Kids, moeskidz.etsy.com, and check out what they have. I know I need to renew a bunch of things and all that jazz. But basically the hand punch things are things he makes, and every dollar he gets in there is going to pay off his French horn. And then I do have my Etsy shop back up and running. We both went on vacation mode for, 2 weeks, week and a half. But we're both back up and running, although I still have a lot of work I need to do in my shop. I just never seem to find time for it. And I think that's about it. It's been boring here other than vacation, which was great. But someday I'll get you guys a little more detail about vacation. There was other things I was going to discuss and they've completely ran away from me. So anyways guys, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up here. Oh! Cowls! That's what, because I tried to talk about the cows that I was actually entering things in. But we are running 2 cows in the Unseen Strands podcast group over on Ravelry. Guys, I told you, it's one of those days. We have 2 cows. We have the New Year, New You cow, which I am running with Ella of No Catching Name. Her part is over on Facebook in her crochet talk group, and then we host our part in the Unseen Strands podcast group. And this is where if you're using new things or new yarn, haha, That's why I had you pulled up. If you're getting new yarn in and you make a pattern, you can enter it. Or I've even had in our group only is if you get a new pattern that was published in this year and you make it out of stash yarn, you can put it in as well, because I would also like to promote those designers making things. So new to you yarn or new published patterns go into the Unseen Strands Ravelry group, and I haven't really picked out prizes, but I will definitely be getting some in. And if you are somebody who would like to donate anything, I would greatly appreciate it, because mom of 4 boys, you know, finances are always tough around here. But I think everyone's been happy with the prizes so far that we've been able to come up with. And then our other, which I can't remember if I've ever actually talked about in the podcast, we are part of the Great Craft Together, which is held by Silver's Dreamland podcast, or she basically started it, which is a crochet along. It is its own podcast group though, or podcast. It's its own Ravelry group. See guys, I told you this is this is terrible. But I need to get this episode up for you because, like I said, we have the prize draw for the next episode, or for stuff coming up on Friday, and I have Weekly Whip tomorrow. Sorry, rabbit trail. So the Great Podcaster Craft Together is its own Ravelry group. There is a link to it over in I made our general chat just has the link to it. It's also listed in our crochet alongs and things for 2019. It is one of the groups listed in the list, the master list. And basically anything you finish this year can go into that thread. And there's also a chatter in that group, so feel free to go join that. And for that one, I am actually donating every quarter a skein of some kind of hand spun yarn, and I might even make this a little more tailored to what the winner wants that's actually in my stash. So we'll see. I haven't actually spun anything up for it since I'm working on the sweater project currently, but I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna have to figure out what I am giving for that. But yeah, so that's coming up, or that is going on now. And yeah, guys, you've seen this episode. It's been a hot mess. So we're gonna go ahead and end before I destroy it anymore. Anyways, guys, if you would like to find me on social media, there is a list of places to find me down in the description box below. I do encourage you to go over and check out our Ravelry group, as there will be lists of other things going on in there. And I did make some new threads in there that are for, someone wanted a list of, well, it was actually Dana of Tabitha's Treasures, had asked for a list of podcasters, so I have started a thread in there, and you can just list the different podcasts you listen to, and I'll be making a master list of different things and kind of putting in active and inactive is what I plan to do on that. Hi Jeremy, I'm recording. And then I also started one for places to shop, which will be for like patterns, yarns, stitch markers, project bags. I'm kind of trying to divide it up, and yeah, so we can help support one another on those different things. And those, basically, I've started those and I haven't done any other work to them. So if you want to add to them, I am more than happy to put your information into the master list at the top of those, but I just haven't gotten that far into actually developing any actual content into those. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd appreciate it if you would hook the like button and subscribe. Talk to you later, guys.